Good morning, friends, and thank you for tuning in to WildOne Forever's The Morning Nosh with me, Meredith Logren. To nosh is to eat enthusiastically, and we've all heard the term, you are what you eat. My goal is to feed you messaging with anecdotes, inspiration, and positive things to start your day. Today's Thursday, May 14th, 2020, and I want to talk about 5 little words. Please, thank you, and excuse me. Now, if you grew up like I did, we got please, thank you, and excuse me literally drummed into our head, because if we didn't use it, that was a smack upside the head. And in a way, that's kind of how I learned manners, which seems counterproductive in a way. Is that the right word I'm looking for? Certainly there was no grace behind learning those words in that way. And I think maybe growing up with it kind of drummed into your head, quite literally, we lost the meaning and the power behind it. Because if we say it with grace and sincerity, those are powerful words, and I'm going to explain that in just a moment. For example, have you ever experienced or done this yourself, where you're just having an off day? You're just not in the mood. And when you're saying excuse me to somebody, it's really coming off as rude. Excuse me. Excuse me. Can you please move that? There's no grace or kindness or sincerity behind those words when we use it that way. So when's the last time you actually said please, thank you, and excuse me with that grace to really mean what you say? And say what you mean. Are those the words that we just learned because it was drummed into our head? When we say thank you, are we actually grateful? When you say please or excuse me, if we think about it, it's really kind of interrupting somebody else so that we can do something, kind of self-serving. But I think if it's respectful and a genuine interaction, then those words actually have meaning. Have we lost that? I have to wonder. I'm going to give you a couple of grocery store experiences using please first. So I saw a young mother and a toddler running around in the grocery store, and she looked like she was done. Stick a fork in her, she's done. And the kid was just a ball of energy, and he kept on grabbing things off of the shelf. She's like, please put that back. And I'm going, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why are you saying please to your child? You tell him to put that back. Because please is supposed to be respectful. At least I think so. But not in that context. So was it a filler word? Was it just an extra syllable to make her sound authoritative with her child? I don't know. I'm not going to go into different parenting styles here, but I thought that was a little bit odd. Please put that back. Like you're screaming, but please is supposed to be coming from a place of grace, yes? And I'm 5'2". I've mentioned that before. I can never reach the stuff on the top shelf, and there's never a step stool or a ladder or whatever, and I'm not going to climb the shelves, though I've certainly tried. Uh, so it's always fun for me personally. It's kind of to test the temperature, I guess, of the people around me. And I love grabbing a younger person, guy or girl, it doesn't matter. And not literally grab, but I'll say, "Excuse me, hi, can you help me? I can't quite reach that thing up there. Can you please help me?" And most of the time, they say yes. I think a lot of times these days, I see a lot of surprise that somebody dared to ask. But it turns into a genuine interaction, and it's kind of fun, especially with the younger generation. I can't believe I'm saying younger generation. I don't feel old, but I am. So yeah, I will grab the attention of a younger person who's taller than me, and I say, "Will you please help me reach that?" And honestly, no one's ever said no. But that's the thing. When there's a sincerity or a genuineness behind asking, then I think people are willing to help. I like to see the good in that. And it's especially fun, but I have to be aware of my time when I ask, for the most part, older gentlemen. If I happen to be in the grocery store and I need something from the top shelf, grab a taller gentleman and be prepared for a conversation afterwards, because for the most part, in my own experience, they will start talking to you, ask about your day, maybe take a peek in your cart and say, "Hey, what are you making?" And that's always fun to have that genuine interaction, especially with strangers, because it's an opportunity to be social when you might not otherwise be. So let's talk about thank you for a moment. When I have those interactions, if I ask for help and somebody cares to do that, I say thank you because I mean it. I am being grateful. And we have to remember that saying thank you is or should be coming from a place of grace. Be respectful. Have those genuine interactions. And it might not be for you necessarily, but it might make somebody else's day. There have been times when I've asked for help and maybe they weren't in the mood, but just that moment of genuine interaction, it kind of felt like the atmosphere changed a little bit. And it was a positive thing. And really, is it that hard to go out into the world? I mean, we're out there anyway. It doesn't take a lot of energy to be kind, but it does take some energy and thought, the consciousness behind it. And if we look outward and see how we're affecting our environment with the things that we say and how we say it and whether or not we mean it, it has that ripple effect with the people around you. People notice and people will interact with you accordingly. So if you're having a bad day, just take a deep breath, especially if you're out in public, and understand that your energy is out there and it's feeding others. This is where I get really corny and say, be a force for good. And remember, when you say excuse me, it's really a nice way of saying, hey, I'm interrupting something that you're doing. And when you say please, you're kind of asking for permission. And saying thank you is a form of gratitude. So, when you're saying those phrases, even though it might have been drummed into your head like it was mine, and it might be just that quick reaction, try to put a little bit of sincerity behind the words because it does make a difference. Say what you mean what you say, be a person of integrity. Back up those words with sincerity because you don't know how you're going to affect somebody else's day. It's all about the energy that we're putting out into the universe. Be a force for good. It's not that hard. It takes a moment, but if you think about it, it really feels good too. I really do hope that this messaging brings some value to you and your day. And if you ever feel like you need to reach out, I can be found on Twitter at MerJ99, that's MEREJ99, and you can also follow me on Facebook, Meredith J99. You can also follow WildOneForever.com and right here on the podcast at podcast.wildoneforever.com. I'm going to close out with this. The Morning Nosh is going to be exclusively available on Podbean beginning May 18th, 2020. For a pledge of $5 a month, you will have exclusive access to the Morning Nosh Monday through Friday. And we hope that you'll throw a little support behind it because the money is actually going towards offsetting the cost of the show, whether it's our server, the website, equipment, and production costs. Plus, we're trying to advertise and grow our network of followers and supporters and people who can find value in our show and our content. So, if you can't support the show, that's fine. We're not looking for your last dollar, but we would appreciate a share with your friends because you never know who's listening in and who might need the messaging. Because we're taking those lemons and turning it into lemonade. And we're also throwing a lot of sugar in there to keep it sweet. But we do talk about some tough subjects on WildOne Forever, and we do that with some honesty and openness because when we share our stories, it helps other people, and that is something that I'm committed to. I have a voice and I'm not afraid to use it. Neither should you.